Hello everyone and welcome to another Oxygen XML live event. My name is Alim Bellu and as usual I will be your host for today's webinar titled The New Oxygen Compare and Merge Script. As you might know, with the latest release of the Oxygen suite of products, additional support was developed for Oxygen XML scripting in order to compare and merge files or directories. My colleague Octaviana Dolu, product manager at Synchrosoft, the company that develops Oxygen XML Editor, planned an exciting one-hour event in which he will cover in great detail the newly implemented scripting support as well as showing you examples on how to use it efficiently. I don't want to waste any more time, so let me recap the useful information that you need to know when it comes to our live events. As always, all of our events are being recorded, so today's event makes no difference. And after the webinar comes to an end, the recording will be made available on the event page on our site, oxygenxml.com, along with Octavian's presentation slides and samples, and also the recording will be uploaded on our YouTube channel titled Oxygen XML. Another important aspect is that as we go along, we encourage you to ask us questions by using the questions panel from the GoToWebinar interface, where our colleagues, Teo Templaru and Artur Boziak, will assist us by answering to all of your questions in real time. So get ready. With this being said, let's say hi to Octavian as he is entering today's virtual stage. Hi, Octavian.
Hi, Aline. Thank you for introduction. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this new webinar. I'll share the screen, and I think I need to start the broadcast. So hello everyone, my name is Octaviana Dolu, and in this presentation we'll cover the compare and merge script support that we added in version 24. We'll see some examples, how we can use these scripts, and we'll see also the new support that was added in Oxygen to save the result of a comparison. So here's the agenda of the presentation. We'll have an overview of the Oxygen diff support. Then we'll discuss about file comparison and how you can use this comparison to merge also files. Then we'll see the directory and directory comparison and merge, and also option and algorithms, and how you can use this from the command line. And also this new feature that allows you to save the results of a directory or file comparison from Oxygen and maybe send it to someone. What compare and merge means? So compare documents, it's identified changes between two versions of the same document. Then the merging, it's uniting the two documents into a single one. In Oxygen, we have a lot of support for comparing and merging files. We have a tool to compare files that you can use it in the text mode or in the auto visual mode. We provide different algorithms. We provide options to ignore or filter different parts of the documents that are compared. Also, we provide a compare directories tool that you can use to compare files binary or by timestamp, and also by content. And when you use the content compare, then we offer also some algorithms specific depending on the content of the documents. If there are XML, we provide some specific XML documents. If there are other type of documents, then other algorithms. And these algorithms are made in streaming mode, so are much faster than comparing files one by one. Then there is another tool that allows you to compare in a three-way mode directories, and this is used, for example, to integrate a project. So if you have a version of the project and other version, and you want to integrate the changes of these two projects, you can use this tool. And then we have this new support to generate reports and the command line scripts that we'll discuss today. I'll show you just a few things about the tools that we already have, and then we'll go further. So we have these compare files here in the tools menu. And here you can select, for example, two files. I'll select these two files here, and I can see the changes automatically between these two files. And in case these are versions of a project, from a project, for example, you can use this three-way support and provide also the base file. And in this case, you have like incoming and outgoing changes. Oxygen determines what are the changes that are made by Mary in this case, because I have this document modified by Mary, and this time this one is modified by John. So I can determine that these are the modifications made by John, and these are the modification made by Mary. And here you have also actions to navigate or to copy all the changes. I will not go into many details. And then you can also use this comparison support in the author mode. And here it looks much nicer. You can see also the images. And also you have these actions to merge this document manual, or you can use this copy all changes if you want. Then there is also the compare directory tool that can be used to select two folders, and it shows you the difference between these two folders. Automatically are filtered the files that are not changed from the project, and you can spot only the changes. And we can see here that we have modification on these files. These are added here, these are added here. So you can also double click on a file and see the exact changes that are in each file. Then you have tools also to merge, to copy all the files from left to right or from right to left, or to filter the changes. I added some materials and some demonstrations in the slides that are available. Also now you can download it from the GoToWebinar application. So I'll not go into many details also here. And then there is a three-way comparison tool that, as I told you, allows you to merge files that are in a project, and you have, for example, two versions, two modified versions of a project, and you want to merge them. You can use this tool and provide the path to the project. And then when you hit compare, it shows you the files that are changed, incoming, outgoing, conflicts, conflicts that are mergeable. So you can also filter them and see the exact changes that are made in each part, and it helps you to merge them. You can merge manually conflicts here, or you can choose what operation to do on these projects from these merge actions from here. So these are the tools that we already have in Oxygen. There's also a tool on the web author that allows you to compare the files and merge them on the web author. I'll not go also in details there, because there was another webinar that is available on our website if you want to know more about this. I have a question for you before we continue. Do you use, or maybe intend to use, Oxygen Diff, and what tools you want to use, or maybe you are using now? So the answer will be the compare and merge files, or the compare and merge directories, or the three-way comparison that allows you to merge changes from projects, or the support to save the results to generate comparison HTML reports from Oxygen, or the comparison file script that we added in the new version. So we'll leave this poll so everyone can answer, and then we'll share the results with you. and we'll see which one. It's questions with multiple answers. I think you already know, and you can check maybe you want to use them all or intend to use them all. I think we can stop the poll now and see the results. So I see that most of the tools are used. The most one is the merge, the compare and merge files, and then we have the compare and merge directories. And I see that there are also some of you that wanted to use the new support, which is great. And I hope I will convince you to use it. We can go further now and see the compare and merge file scripts. This tool to compare and merge files or directories, it's available in the Oxygen XML Scripting product. So this is a different product, and there are also other tools available in the Oxygen XML Scripting. You can check this on our website if you want to see all the support that we have, or in the user manual. So we have support in this scripting to validate data documents or to transform documents, or XML refactoring, or batch conversion, generate documentation, VSDL, and also these new tools to compare files and merge them. So the XML scripting support helps you to use all these tools from the command line or from a continuous integration server. I will not go in to describe all this. I will focus on our part. If you want to see all the support, there is an interesting webinar that one of our colleagues made, and I added the link in the presentation if you want to check it. That goes to all these other tools that are available in the XML scripting, and you can see it if you want. I have another question for you here. If you are using or not the diff scripting, maybe what tools you are using or intend to use. And the answer that I added here, I added some of them because we have only 5 answers available. So are the validation, transformation, generate documentation, the new compare and merge, or in case you use or intend to use other script tool from Oxygen Scripting, you can check other, and you can also add the answer in the questions panel if you want to share these results with us. So we'll leave also this poll for a few seconds more, so all of you can answer, and then we'll share the results with you. Okay, so we see that some of you are using or wanted to use this validation support. There are a lot of that are using the transformation, and this is a great support, yes, in Oxygen. Also, some of you that are using the journey documentation, and I hope you'll use also the compare and merge support. So thank you for sharing this with us. We'll add this on our future plans to improve them and maybe make them better. So now we'll go to see the compare and merge file script. So you can compare 2 documents using the command line script, and you can compare also 2 documents against a base if you want to merge to see the documents that are made on the same revision or on different files from a project. And then you can generate the report in YAML format, in JSON format, XML, or in a visual HTML format. And I'll show you some examples how you can do this and how this format looks. So the arguments that can be set in the command line are the first file path and the second file path, and these are mandatory because you want to compare documents. And in case you have a base file that you want to refer to it, you can add also this file, and then will be a two-way comparison. You can also set the content type in case, for example, you have files that have a specific extension that is not recognized by Oxygen. You can force this content type by using this argument. Otherwise, Oxygen will automatically detect the content type based on the extension, if it's XML, data, JSON, or Markdown, or other formats. Then the output format is set with this out argument, and here we provide YAML, JSON, XML, or HTML format. And we provide also an HTML format that contains inline CSS. This means that the HTML will contain the CSS directly on the elements, and this is used especially to send it through email, because the emails renders this CSS only if it's embedded. Then you can also save the results in a file if you want, and you can use this command to -h to see see all the parameters that can be set on the file script. And if I go in the console, I can type here, I have already installed here the Oxygen 24 scripting, and I'm in the scripts folder, and here I can type compare files, and then -h, and I can see all the arguments, and there are a lot of arguments that can be set in the compare, so it's very powerful. We'll go to all of them step by step and see what you can do with this tool. So the first example would be to compare two files and generate a report in a YAML format. And in this report, you can see the number of modifications. You can see the modification by type. You can see how many deletions, how many addings, how many modifications. And then you can see also the difference on each file and determine what type of difference is and where are the offsets of the modification, the location of the modification. So I have a command already prepared here. I prepared the commands to speed up a little bit. So this first command just invokes the compare files, and I added two files here to be compared. And if I paste this command and I type enter, I will get this report in YAML format in the console, and I see that there are 7 differences and the type of differences and the offsets of the modification. And if I want to have this report in a different format, I can say that I want, for example, -out. I want it to have it in JSON. In case you want to process it, for example, from a JavaScript engine, or it's more suitable for you to process a JSON document, you can generate in JSON format, and you have the same information added in JSON format, also the differences, the type of differences, and each difference. Then you can also specify to generate in XML format. If it's better for you to process this as an XML document. And similarly, you have the differences. This time, the information about the number of differences is added as an attribute here, as attributes. And then each difference is added in a diff element. So this is useful to generate in YAML, JSON, or XML. It's useful to check, for example, in a continuous integration server, if two documents are modified, to determine the changes that are made in these documents and the type of changes, if someone deleted something or added something. You can also process the changes because we provide the offsets of the change, and you can, for example, you can annotate the document and specify, okay, here was a modification maybe, and annotate it with some comments or processing instructions or other type of annotation that you want to make in your process. So this can be integrated in a continuous integration server, continuous delivery pipeline. Then we provide also support to generate a visual form of the report by offering this HTML output. And here you can compare files and save the results in an HTML file and see the exact changes. And I added here two examples comparing two ways and three-way file, and we'll see how the result will look like in HTML. So I have here these commands already prepared, and we'll go into console, and it compares the same files, but this time it specifies that the output is HTML and the result is saved in this file, results HTML. I type enter, the result is generated, and we can go in this output folder, and we have this result HTML file that if we double click, we see the exact changes from the document. So in the left, we have these changes here, and here are changes, are some spaces modified, here some attributes, and also some text modified here. And this HTML shows you also the number of differences, but this time are grouped in block of differences. And you can also filter them. You can see the added, deleted, or modified content. You have also tooltip that explains on each one what each of those buttons does. And you have also status added here for each of the modifications. And you have also some tooltip that explains what this modification means. Then I can generate also in a three-way. I can generate a three-way comparison. So if I have a base, for example, I have a file that was modified both by Mary and by John, and I want to see what are the modifications made by Mary and what are the modifications made by John relative to the file that they started to edit both. So if I paste this command here and run the transformation, this generates in the same file. I can go and double click again, and we see that the output is now a little bit different because we can determine now the exact changes made by Mary and the exact changes made by John, and we see in the left the changes that were made by John, and these are marked with gray, and in the right the changes made by Mary and are marked with this blue. And also you can filter them here, and in case there are conflicts, also the conflicts will be displayed here. In our case, the changes are mergeable, so are not in the same paragraphs. And also here you have tooltips that explains the type of changes on each of those blocks of changes. So this report help you to visualize the changes between two documents. You can filter them, and you can send this report also to someone. You can send it on an email. You can have it like in a continuous integration server and provide this to someone to review it maybe. These changes, as you've seen, you can send it in a two-way comparison mode or three-way comparison mode. Then other arguments that can be set on the comparison files script are the algorithm. So we provide different algorithms. We provide character, words, syntax aware, XML fast, or XML accurate. By default, we determine the algorithm based on the type of the documents that are compared. And if you are using XML, automatically we use XML accurate or XML fast, depending on the size of the documents. XML accurate will be used on small documents, and it's more accurate. The differences are more accurate. XML fast works better on bigger documents. And if you are using other type of documents such as JSON or text documents or markdown documents or other type of documents, then the syntax aware is used. But you can also force an algorithm. You can say, okay, I want to use the words, or I want to use the lines. And then you can also set an algorithm strength. This provides you support to have a better performance if you are using, for example, low priority. The resources that are used are not so many, so it will use less processor and less memory. And if you are using high algorithm strength, then more memory and processor will be used, and the result will be more accurate. The difference will be presented more accurate in case they are very the modifications are a lot in the documents. You can also ignore some of the changes if you are not interested, for example, in white spaces. This is available for all algorithms. You can ignore the white spaces and just focus on the real differences. And I added here an example that compares the documents against the base and forces also the lines algorithm. And if I go in Oxygen, this time I choose to compare JSON documents. So are the same, some similar documents, but in JSON format. And I forced to use the lines algorithm on this, and I generate this in the results HTML file. So if I type enter now, it will generate the report in the same file, and we can see the differences between those files that are written in JSON, and I can see the exact changes that are in those documents. So you can also force an algorithm if you want, depending on the needs of your project. Then for XML documents, we provide special arguments that allows you to ignore processing instructions, or ignore comments, or ignore text nodes, or ignore the namespaces, attributes order. So these are specific for XML documents, and it helps you to filter some of the changes that you are not interested in. And the most powerful one is the support to ignore by XPath. So you can provide an XPath expression and specify the content that you want to ignore. For example, you can say that you want to ignore an element that has an attribute with a specific value, or ignore some attributes that have a specific name, or other type of support. So we provide also this support to ignore by XPath, which is very powerful when you want to focus on the real changes from your documents. I added here an example for ignoring white spaces, comments, and attributes order, and we'll generate also an output file. So let's see the command. So this is the command that compares two data documents against the base and ignore these comments, white spaces, and attributes order, and output the results in the same output file. And we'll go to open it in the browser. And we can see now that we have less difference. So here is the original file that we compared earlier, where we have some changes in comments. There are some changes in attributes and some white spaces added here. And in this report, we do not have those changes anymore. So we have only the changes that we're interested in, only the changes that are made in text. We provide also support to merge content. So you can use this comparison file tool to automatically merge the changes between the files. And for this, you need to use the -merge argument. And this will automatically merge the content in the left file. But you can also provide a merge output where you can specify a folder to save the merge result. So instead of merging in the left, you can specify to merge it in a separate file. And this is similar with the versioning system where you have support to update content of the documents, and it automatically copies the content that is not in conflict. In case if it's in conflict, then the merge operation will be aborted and you'll get a status about the merge operation. And we'll see an example. I added here a simple example with this merge support. So we can compare two files against the base directory. So the merge operation works only if you compare in a three-way mode. And then you can specify, for example, the destination of the merge. And the result of the operation, the report of the operation will be something like this. It will say the operation status, if it's completed or not, the changes that were made in the changes that were found, and the modifications that were performed in the documents. And I have a command here that merges our documents and adds the result in this output merge folder. So I will paste this command here and run it. And we see that we have in our documents, we have 7 changes and the modification, because was not a conflict there, the modification were made in this folder. And if we go to the output folder, we have this out merge, and we can open this file that contains the merge version of the document. So it's very easy to merge two files and have the result available in an output file. Now let's see the compare directories merge. So we've seen that you can compare and merge files, but it's useful also when you have big projects to compare different versions of the project. And for this, you can use this compare this script. And this allows you to generate also reports in a YAML format, JSON and XML, similarly with a compare file script, and also a visual format in HTML. The arguments that needs to be set, it's the first file, the first directory path, the second file, the second directory path, which are mandatory because you need to compare two directories, right? And optionally, you can set also a base directory in case both project or both version of the project were started from a base for let's say the same project, and there are changes made on these two versions. You can compare them in a three-way mode. Then you have also the output, and here you can generate, as I said, in YAML, JSON, XML, or HTML. You have also the option to generate the result of the file grouped or in a row format. Row means that are exactly in the order that are in those directories. The files that are presented in the order from the directories. Grouped means that will be grouped depending on the type of the modification. And I'll show you some examples. Then we have also this HTML report, and this has also a qualifier that allows you to include also the file comparison results, and we'll see also some examples. The result can be also outputted in a file, or it can be outputted in the console. Let's run the help command also on the command compare file script, compare directory script. So we can type here compare dirs and -h. And we can see all the options also for the compare directories, and here also are a lot of options. So this is also a powerful tool with different options that can be set, and I will explain also these parameters in detail. So the first example will be to compare two directories and generate a report in YAML format. This YAML format will present you the number of modifications by default, and also for each type of modification it will display the number of modification for that type, the folders, the files that are added in the left, or the files that are added in the right, or the modified files. And let's run a command also for this. I'll go in Oxygen, and I prepared here the command that compare two directories. So are two versions of a project, and I can paste this command here. So it compare this, and then we have the path to the files. I type enter, and then I get this result that presents me that there are 14 differences, and for each we have two found in only in folder 1, two found in only in folder 2, and 10 that are modified. And then I can output also in other formats. So I can type -out and specify that I want, for example, to be YAML, but this time I want to be in raw format. And the report is a little bit different. It presents you the status with the modified file number, the number of modified files on each type, and then it displays all the modified files and have also the status. So this depends on how you want to process them and which one is suitable for you. And then we can provide them also in the JSON format. JSON, and this is a similar report, but it's in JSON format, and it can be used also in case you want to process it, as I told you, from a JavaScript engine or something, to maybe it's more easy for you to do it from JSON format and parse it, or an XML format. And here it's similar. You have for each type the number of modifications and then the path of the modified files. And this path is relative to the path that you provided in the command line. The output format, as I told you, it's a little bit more complex here. So we have this format grouped or row, and we have also these formats in HTML that includes the file comparison results. So this will help you to generate HTML report, but also generate the changes that are made in each file. So generate a report for each changed file. And I will show you some example to see how this is done. So we'll compare, for example, two files, and we'll output a result, two folders, and we'll output a result HTML. Then we'll compare in a three-way mode, and then we'll see also how you can generate a three-way with including the file comparison result. And I have the commands here. So the first one, it's the one that generates an HTML report. I paste it, so it specifies that the report should be HTML, and specifies also a file where the report will be saved. Otherwise, the report will be outputted in the console. So if I type enter, the file is generated in the output folder, and it's this result there. And if I click it, we see that we have the changes that are made in the project. These are the modifications. These are some additions, some deletions from the right. So here it's a similar report with the one that we have for XML. You have filters, so you can click on these checkboxes here and see only the modified content, or only the files from the right, or only the files from the left, or all the differences. And you have also the status of the files, where it's added and where it's deleted, or if it's modified in one of the places. Then we can compare it also in a three-way mode to see the exact changes that are made in our case by John and by Mary in the project. And if I paste this command, that provides also the base directory now, and generate the report in a results three-way. I added a different output file here. So I'll double click the result file, and we see that the result is a little bit different from the first one. So now we have outgoing, incoming, modification, and conflicts. And you can also filter and see, okay, these are the files that were changed by John. These are the files that were changed only by Mary. These are modifications that are made in both parts of the project, so also by Mary and by John. And it's a modification that is mergeable, so automatically Oxygen determines that this can be merged, and this is why it's marked as modification. Otherwise, it's a conflict. These are also modification, but are not mergeable. Needs to be merged manually and check the conflicts. You can also click on these links here and open the files in the browser and check the version, or you can copy the link and open it maybe in an application. So you can also use the copy link location, and will provide you the link to the file to open it in an application if you want to see the content. Then you can also generate for each of those files the report and see the changes that are made directly in this HTML. And we can do this using another command, and I'll copy it and explain. So it's a three-way comparison, but this time it adds this include file comparison report here, a qualifier that will allow you to generate the result. And the result will be generated in a folder near the report file that I added here as output. So if I type enter, the result file will be created. And we have this report file that is created, but also this report for each file that it's added here. And if I double click this, now we have also the reports that can be we can see. So we can click, for example, here in the middle and see the changes. So the HTML report is it's open for this change, and you can see the exact changes that were made in this this file. Or here, because it's a conflict, we can determine the type of conflict that is made on each of those files and check the content of the files. So the HTML report will help you to visualize better the changes and see exact changes that are made in each part. And you can also integrate this with a continuous integration server, or send it to someone as an email, and maybe provide it as support to check the changes that were made in the project, or integrate it, for example, with a Jira system, and provide there the changes that are made in the documents. And you can also provide here filters, and you can see also the changes on each file if you want. Then on the compare directories, we have also support to compare into archive. So you can use this argument and it will go deep into archives and compare also the files from archive, and will provide you a report also with the files from archive. Or you can use these include or exclude file filters to include some of the document and or exclude some of them. For example, you are not interested in some of the files that are in the project, in the changes that were made there. You can use this filtering support. You can also exclude folders that are generated maybe by a versioning system such as SVN or Git. And I added some examples here. So, for example, I want to compare two files, two directories, and exclude JPEG, or include only the data files. So I have this command here that excludes excludes the JPEG file, and I added this argument here. I type enter, and the comparison report is generated in the results three-way. And we can go in the output folder, and if we see the previous version and the current version, we see that the JPEG file was excluded from my comparison report. Then I can run another command, and for example, I can say that I'm only interested in the data files from my project. And if I type this and run it, then open the result document here. Now I have only the data files presented, and all the other files, text or other type of files, are excluded from my comparison. So you can use also these type of filters to make your report as you want it. Then we provide also different type of comparison. So you can compare by content, or you can compare files binary or by timestamp. And if you want to, for example, to compare them very fast, you can compare them binary and see if there are any changes there, or timestamp if you want to see if someone touched the file. Or if you want to see the exact changes, you can use this content compare, which is also the default mode. And for content compare, we provide some specific algorithms that are in streaming mode, so are much faster than the one for the file comparison, but with the same power. So here you can use similar algorithms to compare by character, words, lines, syntax aware, or use these XML algorithms, XML fast and XML accurate. And also here you have the support to specify the strength of the algorithm, and support to ignore different parts of the comparison report. So you can compare two versions of the folder of a project and specify that you don't want to signal the white spaces modification in those files. And for this, you can use this argument. And for XML, we have similar as for the file comparison, we have support to ignore processing instruction, comments, text nodes, namespaces, attributes order. So it's also very powerful when we want to exclude some of the changes that you are not interested in. Then we have also the merge support. So you can also merge automatically the versions, two versions of project. And for this, you can use this minus merge option. And this will merge automatically in the left project, all the changes, or you can specify an output where to save the merge results, and you can specify this using this minus merge output argument. And this is similar with the versioning system, the merge support. It will provide you also a report with the files that were merged, and in case there are conflicts, this will not be merged and will be signaled in the report. So the file will be kept as they are in the left part. we'll see an example. So this is a simple example that compares two versions of the project, and we'll output this in a destination folder. This is a type of report that is provided. So you have a status of operation, and then some details about the changes that were made with the files that were added, deleted, updated, merged, or if there are conflicts and were not updated, will be signaled here in this conflicts part. Let's run also this merge operation. I have this command here prepared, and I can run it from the command line. And I merge these changes made by John with the changes made by Murray, and I outputted the result in this merge tiers folder, and this is the status. So we have two files that were added, one file that was deleted by Mary, and two files were updated, so were changes made by Mary, and one was merged, so those were changes made also by John and by Mary, and was a mergeable change, and some files that were in conflict and could not be merged automatically. And this result is available here in this this folder that I typed here in the merge operation. So it's the merge tiers, and you have all the project that is merged here. I will not go through all of them here, but you have here the merge result of the operation. Then we'll go further to the support that we added in Oxygen. So based on the support that we have on the command line scripts, we added support to save also the result that we have when we compare from Oxygen and output it as an HTML report. And we added here, added this in the compare files, in the compare directories, but also we added a tool that it allows to generate such a report directly from a user interface in Oxygen. And I will show you an example for this. So we'll go here in the compare files, and we'll compare these files with the changes made by Mary and by John. We can compare it in the two-way mode or three-way mode, doesn't matter. The idea is that you have here in the file now this new action that will allow you to save the result, and will save the result as it is in your editor. So if you merge some of the changes, for example, and you want to save this result and send it to someone to review it and say, okay, I made these changes, but there are other changes that I cannot merge, maybe you can save this result and provide, for example, here a name, let's say result.html, and save it. Then we can open this. Let me go here in Oxygen. And I save this in the folder somewhere, or open. We have it here in the comparison result, and we have these changes saved that I have in the application, the exact changes that I made in the comparison tool. We have it in the HTML now, and I can send this to someone to review it, or maybe save it for a later use. Similarly, you can save a result in the compare directories tool. So if I go in the compare directories tool and I compare two versions of a project, I can use this action from toolbar here, and I can save the result. Let's say result tier, I can save the result, and then I added here. I can open it in the system application and see exact the changes that I have in the application. I have also here in the HTML file. So it's very easy to save now a result and send it to someone just by using these actions that are available here on this tool. And we added also a new action that will allow you to generate a report. And here you can generate a three-way comparison report or a two-way comparison report. So if you have a base directory and two versions of a project, you can compare it. And you can also use Oxygen to provide different options to exclude some of the changes from your report. So you can check this to include or exclude namespaces or attributes, or just use the default settings without excluding anything. So if you want to exclude someone, you need to use this option, or otherwise it will generate with the default settings. And you have also the option to generate also the file comparison reports in this report that is generated. And then here you can provide a file where to output the result. Let's say result dir. Save the result, and this is opened automatically in the application, and we see all the changes that are in these versions of the project, changes made by Mary, changes made by John, and also the conflicting parts, conflicting files. And you have also this file comparison reports available here, so you can click it to see the exact changes on each of those files. This is similar with the one that we seen in the script, but this time can be used from an action. And in case you want to check the changes more easily and you don't want to use it from the command line or use it from a continuous integration server or from a tool somewhere, you can use it here from Oxygen and generate a report. This is the support that we have for comparison, and that allows you to specify two versions of a project and compare it against the base. And as I told you, you have these options that you can set to ignore different parts, or this support to include or not the file comparison in the report. So as a conclusion, we provide full support for file and directory comparison. We have these tools that are available in Oxygen to compare files directly in text or in author mode, to merge them, to compare directories or integrate changes from a project. We added this support for scripting that allows you to generate comparison report or use the scripts to merge the content automatically, and you can merge files within, or you can merge directories, so you can merge different versions of a project from the scripting part. And we have also options to filter some of the differences. We have multiple algorithms and powerful algorithms on the XML part where you can use different options for this. Of course, as usual, we have a lot of future plans. I added some of them here, but your feedback is always welcome, and we are waiting for it. So we intend to improve the compare scripts algorithm and make them more accurate, and we have some feedback on this part. And we work on this. We intend to have also other comparison reports, maybe in an author view or other type of reports. On the scripting part, we intend to add also the JSON schema documentation scripts, the Open API, also some validation scripts that will validate that will allow you to validate documents just by running a validation scenario from a script, and also other parts. And I have a question for you here. What feature is the most important for you. And I added some of them here, but as I told you, you can check the other and maybe provide feedback in the question panel and tell us which feature is the most important for you. So the answer will be to improve the command compare scripts, to provide other comparison reports, the JSON Open APIs documentation script, or the apply validation scenario script. So we'll see which one are the most important for you. I will leave this for a few more seconds to allow everyone to vote. So you can also send us, as I told you, other ideas in case you want other support on the scripting part or on the comparison report part. So we see that there are a lot of you that want to improve the comparison support, and we'll do this. Thank you for your feedback. Some of you wanted to have other reports, and we wait also maybe for ideas and what type of reports you want. Some of you wanted to have this JSON script, JSON schema documentation script, and the validation. There are a lot of you with the validation, so we'll add this this feedback on the task that we have for validation. So thank you for your feedback. Added also some resources. As I told you, these slides are shared here in the presentation. You can download it right now if you want. And added here some resources with some other presentations that are on this part, on the merge part, or the three-way comparison, or the comparison that we have for Eclipse plugin. We can check this if you want to know more about the support that we provide for comparison. So thank you very much for your patience to wait for all the presentation and for your feedback. I will give control to Aline now to read some of the questions, and maybe you have some time to answer to some of them. In case you have questions, you can address them also now and we can answer them, or you can send us later and we'll answer also later. So Aline?
Thank you, Octavian. Thank you for your presentation. So let's take a quick look in the questions panel to see what did the audience ask you. First question. Instead of a side-by-side comparison, is it possible to display the differences in a single file? For example, the additions to be indicated in green and the deleted parts in red.
Right now, it's we do not have this support, but it is possible to generate. Maybe someone can customize it and generate it by itself and get this modification offsets and generate a report as they want. But if we have this idea, maybe we can add it on a future plan, and we'll discuss it, and maybe we can generate this type of report in a single file. So right now is not, but
good.
yes. Thank you for your feedback.
Let's go to the next question. I understand that a merge operation is aborted if conflicts are detected. Now, could an argument be added to overwrite the changes in the first file if the change is conflictual, or to keep the change in the first file?
I didn't get the entire question. Can you repeat it again, please? Sorry.
Of course. Could an argument be added to override the changes in the first file if the change is conflictual?
Right now we do not have this support to override. So right now we merge the changes, and in case if it's a conflict, we skip it. But yes, we think to add this type of argument to override the changes, maybe with the changes made by some of the from the left or from the right part of the conflict. So right now, yes, we do not have this support, but it's an idea to add this argument.
Okay, let's go to the next question. When opting for an HTML output, including file comparison report, an additional directory with file comparison reports is created. If I want to send the main report to others, is it enough to archive that directory with file comparison reports along with the main report?
Yes, you can just archive because this file comparison reports are relative to the uh, report that is created for the project, and if you archive this, it will automatically open the file comparison report when you click it. So the answer is yes.
And the last question that came in, can I compare Markdown documents using the script?
Yes, you can compare with the script. You can compare any type of document that it's recognized by Oxygen. So you can compare Markdown, you can compare JSON, you can compare text documents, and automatically Oxygen will determine the algorithm that is used depending on the type of document that you want to compare, and will provide you a report. As you see, I compared in my presentation some JSON, but you can compare any type of document. So the algorithms for XML are more powerful, yes, but we provide also powerful algorithms also for other type of documents. The syntax aware and the lines is also very good.
Thank you, Octavian. I lied to you regarding the last question because another question just came in from another audience member. Is it possible that I can specify partial portion of a document for merge?
No, right now it's not possible. So it allows you just to provide some files. Maybe you can make some modification before you provide these files to the comparison script and get the parts that you want to merge and save it in two different files and then provide it to the application to merge them and maybe get the results and use it somewhere. So this is the way you can do right now. But yeah, it's a feedback, and maybe we can provide like an expat expression that will say what parts to be merged. Um, what you can do also, maybe if your use case is just to merge, for example, a node from your documents and you do not want to touch the rest, maybe use an expat expression that will exclude all the other modification and focus on only on the current node. So you can use this expat expressions to exclude the other modifications, and then the merge will go only on that node if this will solve your use case.
Um, Thank you for this answer, Octavian. Due to your good answers, people are starting to ask us more questions. So, can you merge two files while ignoring tags?
Um, you could merge two files, and but you cannot ignore the tag names. Let's say if the tag names are different, then Oxygen will provide like a difference. So you cannot ignore just the tag name. You can ignore the entire node, but not only the name of the tag. So yeah, you cannot do this right now. But
Thank
it's an idea maybe to have this support to ignore the tag name.
Thank you. I think that was the last question, but we are glad that the audience felt encouraged to ask more and more questions as we were going further. So let me take control this time. I think we finished with the questions. And let me remind our audience members that they can find the recording along with your samples and slides on the event page. And also, if they have more questions regarding your presentation today, we encourage you to use the Oxygen feedback platform found on this very same page. It's very, very easy to log in and ask your question or just provide us feedback. Now, let me say a few words about our upcoming events because we still have two more events scheduled until now. One is next week on November 24th, working with data in Oxygen, migrating to data and refactoring. And to show you how the refactoring process can be made as simple as possible, in this webinar, we will cover topics like how to use the batch documents converter and smart paste for converting content, or how to use the main file support for refactoring across the entire project. And our last scheduled event for the year at the moment, of course, will be on December 8th. Add-ons you can use for technical writing. And this is one of the most coveted webinars as of yet. This webinar aims to take a deeper look at some of the most popular add-ons that are available and at the types of benefits they provide, how easy it is to install them, as well as offering some ideas for how they can be integrated into your particular authoring workflow. And with this being said, we reached the conclusion of the entire event for today. Octavian, let me thank you again for your for the information that you shared with us.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for staying with us, and thank you for feedback. And we hope we'll have also feedback in the future from you if you have other suggestions after you use the product and you get other ideas. So thank you and goodbye.
And also let me thank Theo and Arthur for helping us, our colleagues, for helping us with the questions behind the scenes. And of course, as always, a big thank you to all of you that joined us today. So until next time, stay safe and have a good day or evening. Bye-bye.